Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Stott, I'm the Emperor of Stomaria, and today I'm going to be talking about the sabres that we have in the Imperial Armory. So for those of you who don't know, in 2019, shortly after we were founded, we actually purchased 4 sabres, and these were designed to be carried by the Imperial Guard for ceremonial and display purposes. And the reason that this hasn't been mentioned on YouTube before is because we didn't have the YouTube channel when we purchased these. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to come on now and show you the sabres in the flesh, if you like, so you can see what we have in the Imperial Armory at the moment. We do have some additions coming in the next week or two, hopefully, and we'll post a video on that at the time. But at the moment, it is just the Hungarian sabres in the Imperial Armory, and I just want to walk through with you, the specifics, specifications of this sabre and what we're looking to do with them, and what the plan is for them in the future and why we chose these ones specifically. So with that in mind, let's get started. So the actual length of this sabre is 92 centimeters, with the blade making up about 76 centimeters of it. And it weighs 1.25 kilograms. So it's not a heavy sabre. It's very lightweight, it's very easy to hold. You can comfortably hold it with one hand, which is what it's designed for. And when you purchase these, or when we purchased these, they came blunt. But we actually paid an additional fee to have them sharpened. And the rationale for this wasn't that we were, looking to go and cut someone up, obviously, but everything that we do in Stomaria, we try to make it as genuine as possible. So we try to make it as realistic and, as close to reality as we can. So everything we do in that regard is, that's just how we do it. So for example, we don't have passports because they're not useful to anyone. They're not practical. But we have passport covers, so you can put a legal document in that passport cover and then use it as you normally would. So again, it's just about the realism with it. We don't typically buy anything or do anything if we think it's going to be viewed as, a bit naff, frankly. So we don't buy Nerf guns, we don't have toy swords, we don't have, toy jewelry or anything like that. Everything is as genuine as we can make it within reason, and so that is the reason that we have these sabres, and that is the reason that they are sharpened, because we wanted lethal weapons not to use, but to make as good an impression as possible to the outside world. So if I show you now, you'll have to forgive me because I'm not familiar with all the proper terminologies of the sabre, so you'll also have to bear with me. But the handle, the hilt, if you can see, it sort of slots into the scabbard there. I always quite like that feature. It's very tidy looking and very neat. And you can see, because these are Hungarian sabres, you can see the influences from the west and the east in it. So if you look at the handle, the hilt, you can see it's very sort of, it's like a Western medieval kingdom. You would have swords quite like this. But if you look at the blade, you can see that there is a curve to it, which is something you might find in the Near East. And because of Hungary's position in Europe, there was a lot of cultural influences from both the Near East and the West, and this is the result. And one of the reasons I really like this is because when we founded Stomaria, Stomaria was always intended to be like a fusion of cultures and a fusion of identities. And this just sort of ties into it. In fact, this is so symbolic to us, to Stomarians, that it's actually in our coat of arms. The griffins are holding aloft sabres, and they are based on these particular sabres, these exact sabres. So that's just a little factoid that you might not know, but now you do. The more you know. So if I take this out. Now, Eleanor and Samantha aren't actually here at the moment, and as you can imagine with the baby, we don't bring this out very often. But as you can see, it is sharpened. It is a very attractive blade, quite comfortably hold it with one hand, there's no issues there. The sword has a nice point on it. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not accustomed to doing sort of reviews or anything on sabres, swords, or whatever else, but I'm afraid you'll have to make do. So this is our Stomarian Steel. This is what we have in the Imperial Armory at the moment, and it's been in there for coming up 2 years now, I think, and we've never really had a use for them. We've never really had a purpose for them, because obviously when we were founded in 2019, shortly afterwards there was the pandemic, and because these were designed to be carried by the Imperial Guard, who act as stewards during public events and all the rest of it, we didn't have public events for 18 months, so we really had no use for them. But now that everything's opening up, hopefully they will see some action. I mean, we'll have to abide by the laws of the land as always. So, they will be carried on private property. It won't be, we're not going to go, parading about the streets, wielding lethal weapons, because that's a very good way to get yourself arrested or fined. So, all by the book, as we always do. But yeah, it's a very attractive sabre. It's a very attractive weapon. It's a very lethal weapon. Again, not a toy, all genuine, and that's the way we like it. And we have 4 of these at the moment. In terms of what we're going to do with them, I have thought long and hard. Yeah, there we go. I have thought long and hard about what exactly the plan is with these, because I don't particularly want to have 4 of these at home. I don't need 4 of these at home. I might retain 1 for myself because they're really cool to have. And it's a very, it's a part of Stomarian history. But having said that, I would like them to be used by the Imperial Guard, and that does require potentially giving them away to members of the Imperial Guard. But these are not cheap. I mean, they might be in the scheme of, I'm not familiar with the pricing of particular sabres or swords, but they cost about somewhere between 150 and 175 pounds a piece. That includes the sharpening with them. So that includes the fee to actually sharpen them. But potentially being able to sell them to members of the Imperial Guard, or after a certain point of showing a certain level of commitment to the project, then maybe we'll gift it to them. Maybe we'll give them to, Lords of Stomaria after a certain point, because obviously they pay quite a hefty monthly fee to become a Lord or Lady of Stomaria. Maybe it'll be a nice gesture, a nice token of appreciation after a while, after 6 months or a year of being a Lord or Lady, maybe we can give them a sabre. It's not really something I've given much thought to. Ideally, what I'd like to do is I'd like to give them to the higher-ups of the Imperial Guard, if you like, the captains or the generals, or, whatever rank that we decide to introduce to the Imperial Guard once we actually get it formally set up and we actually have people that actually need that sort of information and that sort of those sorts of details. But in the meantime, we're just going to hang on to them, and we're going to ponder as to what we're going to do with them going forward. But if you have any suggestions as to what you think you might, what we should do with them, either sort of give them away to members of the Imperial Guard, or sell them to members of the Imperial Guard, or give them to the lords or ladies of Stomaria for their support and their contributions. You know, it's obviously very symbolic, this sabre, because it is very representative of Stomaria, its values, its objectives, to some degree or another. But yeah, I mean, that is the Stomarian Steel that we have. We did get a package about an hour ago, actually, just before I was going to start this video. And I will show you what we just received. It's a bit of a bonus surprise, if you like. I wasn't expecting it today, but we got it. So I'll show you that in a minute. But the additions to the Imperial Armory are going to take the form of firearms. So .22 air rifles, high-powered air rifles. And I have explained this in a previous video that we're going to be using it for target practice, pest control, hunting. The thing is, we never really had a use for them, so we never bought them. But now that the Kingdom of Wayward has become an associated state within Stomaria, we can now go to that land, and we have, I've obviously talked to King Raoul about this, but he's happy for us to go and, you know, do some target practice and shooting and all the rest of it. So that'll be fun, and that'll be a video for another time. But as I understand it, he's currently, among other things, setting up a shooting range. I don't think necessarily specifically for us, but you know, it's all tied together quite nicely. A happy string of coincidences. So yeah, those will be the next additions to the Imperial Army. Some more practical firearms. Again, not a toy, not Nerf guns, not anything like that, but getting genuine rifles, genuine shotguns. You have to jump through so many hurdles and hoops. You have to talk to local law enforcement as to why you want them. It's really just not worth the hassle, because at the end of the day, all we want to do at the very least, sorry, at the very best, is hunt small game. And we don't need, I'm trying to think of the right word, like high-powered firearms, like genuine firearms. Air rifles are more than suitable for taking down small game, for pest control, and of course for target practice. And that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks, hopefully. So with that in mind, let's put this over here. This is what came today. Now, I know what you're thinking. This does not look very Stomarian. This is very pagan. And it is. And that is the idea, because this is actually something that I purchased a week ago or so as a gift for King Raoul Halvar of the Kingdom of Wayward. And this is, again, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a huge amount about it. It is a practical, lethal, sharpened weapon. It's high carbon steel. It's made of a high quality wood, the actual handle, I guess, you'd call it. And it comes in a little sheath here, like that, to keep it protected. But this was actually purchased specifically for a ceremony that we're hoping to do in the next few weeks. I mean, we both got a lot of conflicting schedules at the moment, but I will eventually arrange to go down there to have a little ceremony, maybe with some of the other Waywarders, just to have a formal ceremony regarding the inclusion of Wayward into the Empire of Stomaria. And I just wanted to say thank you for giving Stomaria the opportunity to, for giving Stomaria the opportunity to allow the Wayward to become involved within Stomaria and to see how it goes, because this is an experiment for us as well as them, because even though that we've always intended for other Micronations to become a part of Stomaria, Wayward is the first one that's actually taken the plunge and signed up as an associated state. So we're still working out the kinks, working out how we can benefit each other. We do have some exciting news, hopefully, in the next few weeks and months regarding some developments at Wayward. But this is just a small token of thanks that we are giving King Raoul and the people of Wayward at large, I suppose, just as a symbol of friendship, of unity, and yeah, hopefully a bright future together, the Empire of Stomaria and the Kingdom of Wayward. And who knows, in the next few weeks, months, or year or so, we may get more Micronations getting involved in the Empire of Stomaria as associated states or protectorates, and we can expand further, increase the number of people, sort of developing a real-world community based on, shared values and objectives and trade relations, and trying to strive for genuine change. But let's go a bit off tangent for a moment. I just wanted to show you this this axe that we're going to be giving to King Raoul of the Kingdom of Wayward in the next few weeks for a formal ceremony. So it's a sneak peek, if you like. So you'll see it in the video, hopefully, once we publish that. And yeah, I think that's about everything I wanted to cover for the moment. So even though the video was aptly named Stomarian Steel, we got a sabre that, based on Hungarian origin. We got an axe for the Kingdom of Wayward. But it is all steel, and it was all steel that we purchased, so I suppose it still makes sense. But if you enjoyed this video and you're interested in becoming involved in Stomaria, please feel free to consider signing up as a citizen through our Patreon campaign, the link of which you can find in the description below. Otherwise, please feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll catch you in the next one.